We're right at the cusp, I believe, of the altcoin season, of the Bitcoin summer, of what we've been talking about for the last 2 years. We're right at the cusp of it. Now, we've been through a lot. It should have happened months ago, but Trump messed it up with his tariffs, but maybe the tariffs worked. If this is what's coming out of this, maybe he was right. And I'm willing to say that. I don't, maybe he was right. I don't know. We'll see what happens in 6 months, a year. We'll see how it ends up playing out. He could have been right. Maybe we were all wrong and he was right. We'll see. But improved global sentiment and risk appetite are fueling this current altcoin, especially XRP-led rally.
Bitcoin is trading above $100,000 and altcoins are gaining momentum. With new regulations, geopolitical shifts, and a wave of institutional interest, a serious bull run might be around the corner. Let's break down what's happening and why it matters. First, let's talk about the bigger picture. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has announced plans to create clearer rules around crypto tokens. For the first time in years, we're seeing a proactive regulatory approach that supports innovation while cracking down on fraud. That clarity is helping investors, developers, and companies move with more confidence. We're also seeing more states, like New Hampshire, approve digital asset investment frameworks. This means state-level adoption is accelerating, adding more fuel to the fire. Combine that with signs of easing U.S.-China trade tensions, and you've got a macro environment that's more favorable to risk-on assets like crypto. Markets don't like uncertainty, and the less there is, the more confident people feel jumping back in. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. After the latest halving, we're seeing the same early signs we've seen in past cycles. Historically, Bitcoin tends to experience explosive growth about 12 to 18 months after each halving. That timeline puts the end of 2025 right in the sweet spot. Standard Chartered has projected Bitcoin could hit $200,000 before the year's out. Others, like Tom Lee from Fundstrat, are calling for $250,000. The reason? It's not just about hype anymore. It's about serious institutional demand, sovereign interest, and the scarcity of a deflationary asset in an inflation-heavy world. But Bitcoin isn't the only one heating up. Altcoin season looks like it's just beginning.
Now we got a lot of these people coming out again saying XRP could be here. All these predictions starting to come out. A lot of people saying Bitcoin, XRP could be at $10, $12, $15 by the end of the year. Now, I put up a lot of things and saying XRP could go to $10,000. Now, I want to clear this up because a lot of people don't understand this, is that I say that, but it is as a question. But I'm going to be honest with you. There's no way in the next 5 to 10 years XRP is going to $10,000. Now, with time, yes, but not because, remember, things need time to grow. Remember, things don't go straight up. It never does. In an environment where it went straight up, yeah, we could be at 10,000 in 7 years. But the problem is that whenever an asset spikes up, there's people that come along and they short it or they sell. That causes it to go down. Then it goes up, go down. It's going to be stepped up. So because of that stepping process, the impulses and corrections that go all the way up, it takes a lot longer for an asset to gain the momentum, gain the steam to get to where its true value is. So it could take 10, 15, maybe 20 years to get there, maybe longer. But that doesn't mean it's not going to get, like NVIDIA, for example, took 15 years to get to where it's at today. It started at like 30 cents. And now it's at what? I don't know, $150, $160. Pre-split value, $1,600. But started at like 30 cents. You have to remember, it takes a long time for it to build to momentum. We're going to go through hard times. We're going to go through recessions. We're going to go through negative growth periods. All that is going to hold it back over the next 10, 15, 20 years. So it will take a lot longer to go to that $10,000 mark, 20 years. But that doesn't mean we're not going to get to 100. We're not going to get to 50. We're not going to get to 75 here really quickly because I believe that's going to happen. Now, not this year. I'm not going to say that either. This year, we're looking at 8 to 12. That's a good, solid target for this year. Now, next year, maybe the year after that, we get to 25. Time goes by a lot faster than you think. If you're sitting there right now, I don't want to wait, whatever. What's going to happen is that you will get impatient. You'll jump on something else. The time will pass anyway. And at the end of it, you still won't have the money. I've seen so many people ruin their entrepreneurial lives and their investment lives by being impatient. Because what they do is they bounce around for years. They go here, go here, go here, go here. They bounce around. Then at the end of the term, the 5 years, it's wasted. And the person who just stood for those 5 years and waited ends up well off at the end of the 5 years or on the path to well off. The other person is bounced around for 5 years, still in the same place. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. especially if you're young. It sounds like 5 years is a long time. You're in your 20s. 5 years is a long time. That's a quarter of your life if you're 20 years old. 25, it's 20% of your life. But it goes a lot faster than you think. I'll tell you that. A lot faster than you think.
Ethereum is up nearly 13% in the last week alone. Coins like Solana, Avalanche, and Chainlink are making strong moves. Investors are starting to rotate profits from Bitcoin into promising altcoins, a trend that often marks the second wave of a bull market. We're seeing volume, engagement, and developer activity pick up across a range of ecosystems. People aren't just buying, they're building again. And then there's XRP.
So a lot of analysts right now are saying that XRP could surge 4 times to $10 this year. They said that the key trigger would be Bitcoin dominance expected to drop, which will, like we talked about before, often signals altcoin season. XRP is already up early in this bull run, unlike past cycles where it lagged. And that's because of the new administration. It's because of the lawsuit being resolved. It's because of Brad Garlinghouse excellent lobbying activities. SEC lawsuit is very, very close to being resolved. XRP now has regulatory clarity at least. It's no longer labeled a security. Ripple is expanding globally. We know about the Japan integration. We know about the cross-border payments, real-world asset tokenization.
If Ripple gets a favorable outcome or even a settlement, it would be a landmark moment, not just for XRP, but for the entire crypto industry. Second, XRP is gaining renewed institutional interest. It's already traded above $2.40 recently, and that momentum is building. There's also growing speculation that an XRP ETF could be on the horizon, which would open the door for major inflows. If that happens, XRP could explode fast. So what does all this mean? Regulatory clarity is on the way. Institutions are leaning in. Bitcoin is set up for a potentially historic run, and altcoins are just getting started.
Emotions is what kills most people. And that's what happened over the last 2 or 3 months, is that they saw their investments going down. They couldn't take it. They quit. Blame me. And then what's the weird thing about it is on my social media platforms, I've seen a lot of people refollow me. Now, and in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you unfollow me in the first place? Because I could tell you what happened with somebody's mindset is that they invested, they got excited back in November or whatever. They start following me, got excited, invested. As soon as it dropped, they got mad, had to find somebody to blame. So they blamed me, unfollowed me, and got rid of everything. Now, when they saw it go back up, I guess he was right. They come back on. That's a sign of the emotions that people go through that cause them to forever be in poverty or not ever getting to where they want to in their financial life. It's the emotions. Like I told you one time, it's easy to make money. Money is not hard to get. Money is not hard to make. But most people are controlled or held back by their emotions. Every crash in history has went back up, so why wouldn't it go back up now? But your emotions conflict with that, and it causes you not to make the decisions you know you should have.